Hello everyone and welcome back to rysonsspraybooth, and in this video I will be sanding this dent again. Now on this dent I have two more videos. What I will do is I will put all the videos of this dent in one playlist and I will create a series on it so that you guys can watch all these videos together and learn properly. If you guys have not watched those videos, then I will put a link of those videos in the end screen so you can later go and watch those videos as well. So we are done applying primer on this dent. Now after applying the primer, I cannot make out my dent. I feel there are no ups and downs in my dent, which means I am very close to applying the base coat. But before applying the base coat, I still have to sand this primer. But before doing the sanding, I am applying a masking tape here so that my sandpaper will not touch the garnish and scratch it. So here I am done applying the tape and now I will start to do the sanding. Now the sandpaper I have put on a block and here I have started to do the sanding. Now if you guys have a dry powder guide coat, then you can make use of that here. You can acquire good results if you use a guide coat. Now when I am doing my block sanding here, what will happen is my sandpaper will only touch the high spots and it will not touch the low spots. But your job is to make this primer totally flat. I will give you a slightly closer look of the sanding. As you guys can see here, on this part the surface is become flat in this small area, and on this part it is not become flat yet. It is slightly up and down. Up and down means you can make out on the texture that the sandpaper has not touched it. Like this you can make out if your dent has been sanded properly. And as you guys can see that this part is flat and on this part also it is flat. Where there is textured area, there your sandpaper has not touched. So wherever you have applied the primer, see that you sand it flat before applying the base coat. So you will have to watch this video very carefully because the camera has captured this. If you see it very carefully, you will come to know. If I was applying guide coat on this, then all these things would be visible more. I will definitely try to make a video on powdered guide coat in the future on this channel. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then see that you subscribe. So again I have started my sanding process. So here you should learn by looking at me how to do sanding. Just see how I am moving my sanding block. I am moving it in a cross direction. So these things you should be observing. I'm not sanding from up and down or from side to side. I'm sanding in a cross direction. So this is the way that you should be sanding most of the time. And in between you'll have to touch the dent with your hands and you will have to check if it is properly leveled. If you feel that it is become level, then you should stop sanding right there, because the more primer that will be left on your panel, it will give more protection to your panel. Now if you sanded it too much and if the body filler starts to show up, then you will have to apply primer on top of it again before applying the base coat. Now while I'm applying the base coat, I will apply the base coat on this entire door. So when I'm done leveling this dent where I have applied the primer, and when it becomes nice and flat, what that means is if I touch it or if I see it from any angle, I should not be able to see the dent, that you have done some body work here. When I reach that point, I will take out the handle from this door and I will sand this entire door flat. Now in between, on your sandpaper and on your block, you will have to tap like this and take out all the dust so that the sandpaper will work at its full potential and start sanding again. Now if you feel that after sanding it with a block it has become totally flat, then stop sanding with the block and start sanding with your hand only. Now this is in the end and you will have to check the dent very carefully if it has become totally flat. If there are pinholes in the primer, then you will have to fill them up with glaze putty, and then you will have to sand that glaze putty and you will have to spray the primer on top of that glaze putty as well. You will have to apply a very little amount of primer, like a touch-up primer. You don't have to spray the entire dent again, and then you will have to sand that primer as well before you apply the base coat. Now how I am touching the dent and I am checking, that you can see here. You will have to touch the dent on all the sides and you will have to check, and if you feel that the area is slightly up and down, then you will have to start sanding it again. So first, as you guys can see, that I am sanding only the down part and the top part I have not even touched. While doing sanding, you will have to do like this part by part, otherwise you only will not remember where you have sanded and where you have not sanded. So finish one part first and then go to the next part. So I'm done sanding the down part and now I will go near the top part where there are curves and body lines where it is slightly difficult to sand. Now here also you will have to sand part by part. Now like how the curve is, on that line only you will have to sand, and here where the primer is touching the garnish, there you will have to use your hand and do the sanding. You should not be able to feel the seam. What that means is where the primer is starting and where it is ending. When you touch the surface, everything should nicely blend with each other. Then only you will get good results. If the curve is too much, then use your hand to do the sanding, and if you feel that it is become up and down, then see that you use the block and do the sanding. Now where there are lines on the panel, see that you use a block and do the sanding on this type of parts so that the line comes very sharp. Later you can do hand sanding and make the line rounded. So I will give you a slightly closer look here. As you guys can see, my sandpaper has not touched this area properly, and if you see on top here, the surface is become nice and flat. So like this you will have to make your entire surface flat. So I'm hoping that you guys have understood what you should be acquiring. So if you love Autobody and painting, then the first thing that you should be liking is sanding, because in Autobody and painting the most important and which takes most of the time is sanding. The better you are in sanding, the better finish you will acquire. And this is the toughest part also. To spray the paint it is very easy, but to do the sanding and acquire a flat surface, to blend it with the surrounding panels, it takes time to do that, it takes patience, and it takes efforts as well. So once you are done making the surface flat, take your sandpaper and do hand sanding on this line with a very less amount of pressure and make it slightly rounded. You don't have to do too much of sanding here, just do a little amount of sanding and make it round, and that's it. Now once if you feel that your dent is totally leveled, then use your hand and check it on all the sides. Even if a little amount of up or down is touching your hand, then you will have to do the sanding again. But if you touch your hand like this, you should not be able to make out. By closing your eyes, you should touch the dent and try to check where it starts and where it ends. If you can make it out, then you will have to do more sanding. If you can't make it out, it means that your dent is now totally blended with the body panel. So once your dent is totally blended with the body panel, it will look something like this. As you guys can see here, how flat it is become now. So this type of finish you should be acquiring before applying the base coat. And when you acquire this type of finish, so now you will have to take out the handle from the door and you will have to sand the entire door. So in my next video, I will be applying the base coat and clear coat on this dent, and I will show you the final shots of this dent. And if you want to learn Autobody and painting seriously, then I have created a step-by-step course on this. I will put a link of that course in the description below. So if you want to learn Autobody and painting and do your own paint jobs like this, and that too at home, then go in the description below and get yourself enrolled. And I will see you guys on the inside. So if you found this particular video useful, and if you feel that you got lots of good information in this video, then see that you like and share with your friends and family. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then see that you subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon so that you will not miss any of my future videos. Till then, bye and take care.